All right, y'all. We are live, episode one of ones. It is May 28th, 2024. We are live in full effect. Let me check and make sure this is going. Going? Oh, let's not get a double entendre there. So, one of ones. We're aiming to be the number one wellness group in America. In the world, we've already got over 30 countries involved. And we are at about 567 members. And we are aiming to be the number one wellness community in the world. And a lot of what we're doing, it's health, it's wealth, it's love. It's going to be more than just health, but first you got to get healthy to get wealthy. And the number one, let me see here. Is that working? Okay, good. The number one niche in the world is health, everybody. Because if you don't have health, you don't have wealth. If you don't have health, you don't have good relationships. Everything stems from health and well-being. And a lot of people are just getting by, and it's time to stop that. It's time to put a change to that. And we got a lot of answers. We got a lot of big pieces of the puzzle. So North America has some chronic diseases, the rates that are 1,000 to 500 times higher than any other countries. Okay, North America, our cancer rates are 50 to 200 times higher. And since the 1800s in North America, cancer rates have jumped between 500 to 1,000 times higher. That's not 500 to 1,000%. That's 50,000 to 100,000% higher. So over the last 100 years, the rates of autoimmune disease in North America are easily now 500 times higher. So it's an anomaly, right? And this dramatic rise in autoimmune disease, it started in the 1970s, and it started to exponentially rise in the 1980s. 10 years after vitamin A palmitate was mandated to be fortified in all the dairy. And right around the same time, glyphosate, Roundup, pesticides came on the scene. So we had these two new variables in the mix, right? What that means is these diseases are environmentally caused diseases. These diseases are not genetics because the doubling rates are way faster than the human reproductive cycle, right? They're not due to aging. People are confusing aging with poisoning. People are confusing wear and tear and what you're normally supposed to feel with actually the ingesting of toxins and poisons. And over the next few years on these weekly streams, you see on my Twitter account, we'll just be spending more and more time shining the light. We are the Robin Hood of health. We are coming to bring back people's health, and we are coming to educate all of ourselves, even me included. I'm still learning every day. Today we had Karen Hurd on the podcast, the bean protocol. She saved her daughter's life with beans and psyllium husk. Okay? Saved her daughter's life from acute poisoning of a nerve agent because their home was sprayed with an insecticide. Modern medicine had no answer. The doctors had no answer. And she went to soluble fiber. She went to a library. Before the internet existed, she goes to a library and studies the liver and studies poisoning and figures out that if she gives her 2-year-old daughter soluble fiber, that her daughter will be able to get rid of this toxic poison and live. The daughter was given a death sentence. Okay, and what do our biohackers and our health gurus tell us? Beans are peasant food. Oatmeal is peasant food, right? The oldest family in the world, 3-bean soup every day, soluble fiber, a combined age of 861, the Melise family. So we have to factor in a lot of things in, especially with these rates in North America. You got to factor in immigration, right? In the West, there's a fresh influx of a lot of healthy people, right? I did the joke, these guys are high T now and they're a touchy-feely now, Just let them get a few years, few generations with the standard American diet. They'll be low T and low energy in no time. But that means that the numbers of people are born here who parents live here are way higher than we think, right? Eczema, huge uptick in eczema, huge uptick. There's now children getting rheumatoid arthritis, child arthritis, and the doctors have no answer for it. It's criminal. So the science isn't wrong. It's the men interpreting the science. It's the men and women interpreting the science that is wrong. Now, when we come and talk about vitamin A, why would the human body ever develop such a critical dependency on a toxic molecule, right? Do you trust the dairy industry? Do you trust the egg industry? Do you trust the supplement industry? Okay, liver injury, 20% of liver injury now that the hospitals see is caused by multi-ingredient supplementation. And we know that the liver injury is a silent injury, right? It can take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You know, you go out drinking for your first time, your liver's not going to feel bad. You might not even get a hangover, but the damage is beginning, right? So it's not corruption. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's the double-edged sword of capitalism. We can no longer allow industries to influence our health department, to run our health department, right? It's a total conflict of interest. Food industries who have profit margins and are making money should not be the ones funding these studies to tell us what's good and what's not, right? These should be bipartisan, apolitical. And if you want to do a great thing for your health, do your own studies, do your own research, and pretend that you have an assignment of your college professor, your high school, you're in debate class, and your teacher says, hey, give me a reason why those supplements are bad for you. Give me a reason why that vegetable is bad for you, right? And look to the end of the earth. And when we talk about red meat, why red meat is bad for you, you'll see that the China study, one of the main studies everybody talks about, it had dairy, it had pork, and it had eggs. So how can you villainize red meat? There is no big study with just red muscle meat, right? And lean red muscle meat is one of the highest bioavailable sources of zinc. And what is zinc? Over 300 enzymes, but testosterone. And what are all the young men low in now? Testosterone. So we have a zinc deficiency epidemic, and in the same breath, they're trying to villainize red meat. It's not the red meat. So there are over 50 documented symptoms of vitamin A toxicity. 50 symptoms documented. There also happen to be about 50 autoimmune conditions named. And every symptom of vitamin A, believe it or not, has a corresponding named autoimmune disease. So in the cornerstone studies of vitamin A toxicity, deficiency, the cornerstone research in the early 1900s, the symptoms of vitamin A deficiency that they researched are a perfect match for what we know as vitamin A toxicity. So the conversation now is coming to, we have to have new studies done. We have to have a new conversation of what this toxic fat soluble molecule even is. We have to find out why this is being fortified in everything, in our dairy. We had a guy the other day on Twitter, on X, his cookie and his Rice Krispie treat were fortified with vitamin A palmitate. Why? Why is a fat soluble molecule that you can get too much of, this is in the science, you can get too much of it, why is it being put in everything? Hidden in plain sight, right? So when you see that the cornerstone research of their deficiency studies are the same symptoms as toxicity, this is like saying the symptoms of burning to death are the same as freezing to death. It's total opposite ends of the spectrum, right? These experiments in the early 1900s, they don't even pass the litmus test of common logic. They don't even hold up amongst a slight critical amount of critical thinking. And we're arguing, or people are arguing with us, because it's not a debate. People are arguing with us who haven't even read the cornerstone research. They haven't even read the terms and conditions. They haven't even seen what we've seen. These studies are all available. And what happens with studies is the first one's done, and then they got to come and do more using the same variables, using the same controls. So they didn't even think to ask simple questions of how is it possible for human beings and animals to live this long if the rats fed this vitamin A deficiency died in 8 to 10 weeks? Because we know there's animals that have lived way longer than 8 to 10 weeks. They didn't go blind. They didn't die. You could see, every farmer knows if you got rats in a barn over a long, cold winter, these rats can survive on grain for months. And they'll reproduce like rats. They'll be aggressive like rats. And they'll be thriving, right? So what happened in this vitamin A deficiency study of 8 to 10 weeks, right? 8 weeks is all it took to kill these rats. Yet these species have survived millions of winters. This is major, major botched research. Rats can survive 9 months just on grain, right? They have perfect vision. They remain in great health. So a grain farmer could have told you that these studies are flawed. And the truth is, and what we're seeing and what we know now, is vitamin A is actually more of a toxin than it is a vitamin. And it looks like it's killed tens of millions of people. And right now in North America, hundreds of millions of people are walking around severely wounded by it. And this is not an exaggeration. This is not exaggeration. Because it's a fat-soluble molecule, that means your liver has a quota. That means your liver can get enough. Once you've gotten enough, it starts to spill out into any and every epithelial tissue, organs. Now, this is like having this filled to the top in your backyard, okay? It gets to the top, that's your liver, vitamin A. Now, every little drop you add is a spillover effect. And it's just a simple math equation, and it's just time and dose. It's, are you taking in more than you're putting out? So all the different names given to these chronic autoimmune diseases, by the way, they name these diseases so they can control them. So they have a patent on them. You can't say that you can cure a disease that somebody named, right? So why are these the same diseases? Because all these autoimmune conditions are diseases of one specific tissue category. Okay, let's look at it and make this crystal clear. Diabetes is pancreatic epithelial tissue. It's a disease of the epithelial tissue of the pancreas. Eczema, a disease of the epithelial tissue of the epidermis. Heart disease, stroke, these are diseases of the epithelial tissue of the blood vessels. Multiple sclerosis, it's a disease of the epithelial tissue making up the myelin sheaths that are wrapping around the nerves. Irritable bowel, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, these are epithelial tissue of the digestive tract. Now imagine this, your liver's had enough toxic vitamin A, it's gotten to this retinoic acid, it's coming out in your bile, and it's just like you have a plumbing system and it's going through your pipes and now over time deteriorating your plumbing system, deteriorating your pipes. And people say, oh, eat alkaline, eat plant-based, and these plant-based foods high in vitamin A are actually turning into retinoic acid in your body, right? And we've seen Dr. Leah Miller on the podcast. She got vitamin A toxicity just off vegetables. Cataracts, a disease of the epithelial tissue that makes up the lens of the eye. Chronic dry eyes, disease of the epithelial tissue of the tear ducts and other glands. Dry mouth, same thing. And these are all also symptoms, guys, by the way, that we see with Accutane and Retin A, which is really, and all forms, all vitamin A you take in turns into some form of 13-cis-retinoic acid, which is the active ingredient in Accutane, right? So asthma, a disease of the epithelial tissue of the lung. We can go on, kidney disease, epithelial tissue of the kidney. Liver, cirrhosis of the liver, epithelial tissue of the liver tissue, right? So what we should be calling these diseases, not to confuse people, these are diseases of the epithelial tissue. Why do we have to give them each a separate name and confuse everyone when it's all the same tissue and it looks like it's all coming from the same toxic poison, right? So they're really epithelial poisonings. And there's only one poison that could do this damage, and it's vitamin A. And the prescription to reverse this, all it has to be is a low vitamin A diet to start. And it's free. It's free to do that. And we have thousands of people now who are thriving on a low vitamin A diet. Dr. Garrett Smith, if you haven't followed Dr. Garrett Smith yet, follow him. If you haven't read Poisoning for Profits by Grant Ginrou, you got to read that book. Okay, if you haven't studied Anthony Mawson's work, you got to read his work, Mawson. But what Grant Ginrou proves in his book, he almost has too much data. His ebook is free. I'll put the thing in the chat. Thor, I haven't had a coffee in 2 months thanks to you. Yeah. And it takes 90 days to fully get out of the system. So people say, oh, I quit coffee for a month and all I was miserable. It takes 90 days. We learned that today with Karen Hurd. So the only difference, and the only thing they tell you with vitamin A deficiency is xerophthalmia, chronic dry eye, and night blindness. Those are the two things that they say will happen to you if you go vitamin A deficient. Okay? Well, Grant Ginrou's been 9 years on a low vitamin A diet. His serum level of vitamin A is 0.1, critically deficient, and his night vision has gotten better. Dr. Garrett Smith, I think that was 5 years low vitamin A. He's got people in his group that are 5 years low vitamin A. No night blindness. In fact, all of them report things just getting better, right? So it's the same exact condition, but it's affecting all the different organs. So the only difference is the named organ where the destruction is taking place. And many times people suffering from autoimmune, they also have fatigue. They also have joint pain. They also have anger or depression or anxiety. It comes with a lot. They might give you the one name of the thing, but there's a bunch of other things that come with it, right? So they say chronic dry eyes is vitamin A deficiency. So how is the same exact condition in the skin not the same thing? It's weird, right? It's the same epithelial tissue. I don't know if you guys remember this Dr. Ben Stein commercial, dry eyes all the time on the TV. They had the red bloodshot eye, and then they pour the shower over the eye, and that was clear eyes. Huge commercial. And if something's being advertised that much, it's a clear indicator that the masses are suffering from it. And what it looks like now is about one out of 3 people are suffering from vitamin A toxicity. And they don't even know it. They don't even know it. It's hidden right in plain sight, right on this label. So how many more people have to die? How many more people have to suffer? Right? How many more people have to live in pain? And especially, I'm talking to you health nuts out there. I was one of them. of just looking for every fad diet, trying everything, trying every supplement, trying all the superfoods, the colorful superfoods. In nature, the colorful foods are the poisonous foods. The more bright the food is. And we were taught that it was, that's where all the nutrients are. Well, it's actually the chemical warfare, right? Animals have teeth, they have claws, they have legs to run away. Plants don't. So plants have to use chemical warfare, mainly carotenoids, pesticides like caffeine, right? So there are too many inconsistencies and contradictions in the vitamin A science. There's over 450 published studies on PubMed. Out of the thousands, there's only 450 that are actually showing that this thing is toxic. And once you start to dig and dive into the research, it's very hard to prove that this is a necessity or an essential nutrient. It's very hard to call it a vitamin once you do the research. I don't think there's any need for it whatsoever. Dr. Garrett Smith doesn't think there's any need for it. Grantion Rue doesn't think there's any need for it. I'm 6 months into a low vitamin A diet, and let me tell you what's gotten better for me. Okay, let me tell you what's gotten better for me on a low vitamin A diet. Burping. I was burping all the time. I don't know if that was ulcers or what that was. Constant burping. Cold feet. I've had cold feet. I used to have cold feet for as long as I can remember, maybe high school. And I would try to put cayenne pepper in my socks, and I would try to do all the tricks. I thought it was iodine. It wasn't until I went on a low vitamin A diet that my cold feet went away. Thinning hair. My hair now is pretty good, but in the light, you used to be able to see through it. This here used to be bald down to here. This is growing in. My shin hair, my lower shin hair is growing back, which my shin hair went bald. I was out walking my dog, Kodiak the Shepherd, 2020 during COVID. I'm walking my dog, snowy night. I come home, I take off my boots, and my shin hair is gone. And I thought it was the boots. I thought it was the boots rubbing the hair. And then the hair never came back. And I was like, what is this? And I started to talk to like a lot of my friends. Yeah, the thyroid, epithelial tissue of the thyroid. And we're seeing people on a low vitamin A diet where their hypothyroid goes normal. And if they're on meds, it almost even goes into hyper if they go off the meds. We have, let me read you the testimony of a girl in one of ones who got off of thyroid meds. Okay. I got my thyroid levels back. I expected they would get better as I'm feeling much better, but I literally cried when they came back as they were so much better than I expected. This is working. 1 year ago, my free T4 was 9.6. That's UK range on the low side. Then January 18th this year, it dropped again to 9.1 and TSH 0.82, borderline hypothyroidism. And I was symptomatic. Then around 4 weeks ago, when I found you, I was determined to change my diet and not go on levothyroxine. I had my thyroid levels checked a few days ago. My free T4 was 13.4, TSH 1.81, free T3 3.9. I am so happy, so emotional. Thank you so much. That's a one of ones member about a month ago. She was a month on a low vitamin A diet. Hair on my shins came back, goatee filled in, dreams. Another thing people are reporting on a low vitamin A diet is dreaming more than they've ever dreamt before, which I think is super symbolic. I think it's another thing of why the chronic weed smoking is a bad look, because a lot of weed smokers report that they don't dream. How many times you hear, I stopped smoking weed and I'm dreaming again? That's symbolic. If you're not remembering your dreams, That's deep. That's symbolism. Well, people are dreaming. Not only am I dreaming more, some nights it feels like I'm dreaming the entire night. And they're vivid dreams. And a lot of my dreams are like back in childhood. It's pretty weird. I don't know what a low vitamin A diet is doing. One of my theories is how it works with the pineal gland. And vitamin A is a huge antagonist to vitamin D. And unfortunately, when you're vitamin A toxic, you start to get calcified. And especially with the vitamin D3 supplements too. My energy's up. My energy's up massively, way more energetic. Not only did I stop the caffeine and coffee, but I don't even need it. I don't even want it. Right. My mood, nowhere near as angry or irritable. Things just don't bother me like they used to. And things that I should be super stressed about, not stressful, especially all the petty stuff. How many people are walking around vitamin A toxic with their cholestasis and their liver injured and they're moody and irritable? How many times a day do we see people fighting in public, online, social media, strangers fighting with one another, right? You should be super patient and present when you're outside. You should be looking at everybody like that person has a liver injury, that person has a toxic liver, they don't know better. And when you vibrate higher than them and you're on a higher level, you can't even catch that contagion, right? My grip strength is a huge indicator for all-cause mortality and longevity. So my grip strength has increased tremendously on a low vitamin A diet. I've been working out for 20 years off and on and was pretty much plateaued and would just go through the motions, do the same thing. Now all my lifts are going up and my grip strength is going up. No supplements, no steroids, just by going on a low vitamin A diet. Testosterone, I'm getting tested next week. So I feel symptomatically, I feel like my testosterone is up, a lot of indicators, but I'll be getting the blood work done next week. Psoriasis is gone. I had psoriasis on the back of my head and on certain patches of my head, itchy, flaky skin like dandruff, gone. And not only was that low vitamin A diet, but that was getting zinc and selenium in there too. Teeth prints on my tongue. I had teeth prints on the side of my tongue, and traditional Chinese medicine said that was spleen, and that's gone away. And I'm just 6 months in, and for you guys to know at home, what we're seeing is it can take 3 to 5 years, depending on how sick you are, depending on how toxic you are. It can take 3 to 5 years to get vitamin A levels all the way down to zero and get it out of your liver. And the other thing we're seeing is people's serum levels of vitamin A will go up as they go on a low vitamin A diet. So what does that tell you? That the liver is trying to get rid of, the liver is dumping it, and your body's getting rid of it. Your liver doesn't want it. Eye floaters, my eye floaters are pretty much gone. That was another thing I've had for a while, is eye floaters. I don't know what that was from. Hair on my knuckles. Can't see it there, but hair on my knuckles are growing in. So that's another case. And if you look, one of the symptoms of Accutane is hair thinning. One of the symptoms of hypervitaminosis A is hair thinning. So even you can see women, a lot of women will have, older women will have their hair thinning too. So look no further than a toxic liver and vitamin A toxicity. Neuropathy. I had neuropathy on the left side ever since COVID happened. I don't know what happened, but it would go from my left leg. It would be in my left neck, sometimes my left head, sometimes my left arm. And we know that another cause of neuropathy is B6. Vitamin B6 can cause neuropathy in a lot of people. So if you have neuropathy, check out your multivitamin, check out your B complex. You could easily be having too much B6. Teeth grinding was another one gone. teeth grinding for me, that was something I had been doing since a little kid. I've been grinding my teeth in my sleep. I've been grinding since a little kid, guys. That's gone. It will come back sometimes if I go a little too hard on detox, whether it's zinc or molybdenum. It'll come back, and I got to check my hair test and check my blood and see, because I'm still going through the detox process. So in next week or the week after, when I do a live stream of my blood work, you guys are going to be on that journey with me, where I'm just going to be one more person that proves that getting your vitamin A levels to around 0 is where you're actually thriving. I'm just going to be one more person who proves that. And if you guys are in one-on-ones, and the guys and girls in Dr. Garrett Smith's liver program, Love Your Liver program, the more people we can prove, that's how we move the science. We are the source. We are the study, right? Most studies start anecdotally with people having a story, people having something happen. Then the other thing is no sunburn. I don't get sunburned at all. I'm 80% Irish, I think 20% Italian, 10% Italian. I used to get sunburned. I live in South Florida. I don't get burnt. I don't get burnt at all. And I can go out in the midday even. No sunscreen, right? Sunscreen's toxic. And the more easily you get sunburned, the more toxic you actually are, right? And you see the people who say, hey, you want to get a better tan? Eat carrots, eat carotenoids. Well, the carotenoids come out in your skin. That's how vitamin D is an antagonist to vitamin A. So when you go out in the sun and it expels it from the skin, right? This is another reason why people say, oh, sun gazing, my eyes got better. And I'm not telling anybody to sun gaze. And if you're going to sun gaze, you don't look directly in the sun. You go out before 10 a.m., after 4 p.m., no clouds, got to be a clear sky, and you look around the sun and you work your way up. I'm not telling it. That's what I would do if I was getting into that practice. So let's see if we have any questions in the YouTube. We got 1 a.m. top chat. We got 10 people watching. We got a whopping 10 people watching on YouTube, but we got 300 or something watching on Twitter. So let's see with the Twitter. Let's see how we get the X questions going. And we'll read another facts that happened to me. I stopped doing drugs and smoking weed, and I started dreaming and remembering my dreams. Yeah, that's key. And then you could even keep a dream journal. Wake up and write your dreams down. And another thing you can do is, before you go to bed, you can have affirmations, right? You can say, hey, this is what I'm going to dream about. Hey, protect me in my dreams. This is where I'm going to. Dreams, a lot of times, are just leftover thoughts, right? So if you're still having bad dreams or nightmares, dreams are leftover thoughts a lot of times. And you can get clear indicators and messages in your dreams. And what you dream is symbolic to how you're living. Thor, you look so good. Thank you. That tan is so good. Thank you. I'm doing a little bit of niacin right now. So let me know, guys, put your questions in the chat. And I think I can see them here in the StreamYard. And we'll answer some questions here. And then let's read another testimony from one of ones while we're at it. Let's read a few testimonies here from one of ones. Been walking an hour a day and eating this diet for 3.5 weeks, and I'm already down 15 pounds. Common thing. Walking, and it's not hard, guys. How can I get my family and friends on low vitamin A? That's a great question. So there's a few ways to get your friends and family on low vitamin A. First of all, you got to lead by example. And you got to show them what you're doing is working, right? You got to show them that you are feeling and looking amazing, and what you're doing is working and how you're doing it is working. Then you have to kind of learn. You got to read Granchen Rue's Poisoning for Profits. You got to read Dr. Garrett Smith's X account and watch his YouTube live streams. You got to wrap your head around that vitamin A is actually not a vitamin. It's really an alcohol like retinol. Okay. This is what I tell people. It was discovered in 1906, and then it was named in 1913. They had to win a patent and a Nobel Peace Prize. There was basically an arms race to discover this thing. And what do we know about discoveries is they lead to money grabs. They lead to more inside jobs, more funded research to prove that these things are right. And you can really, it's not hard, guys, to show people. You just type in hypervitaminosis A, you type in vitamin A toxicity, and it's a known thing, right? How many times did doctors say pregnant women don't take vitamin A? This was a commonly known thing. In fact, if you take Accutane, if you're a young lady and you're on Accutane, they make you go on birth control and they make you sign a pledge wager that if you are to get pregnant, you have to have an abortion, because that's how bad the side effects are from vitamin A, and especially women who are giving birth. So show your friends and family, especially show them a multivitamin, right? Multivitamins usually have 150% to 200% of the RDA for vitamin A. Now show them that's a fat-soluble toxin that can lead up and cause damage. So why would you ever take a multivitamin with 200% of the RDA? That would mean that anything else you ingest or eat, you're now going over the RDA. So if you're taking liver, you're way over the RDA. If you're doing dairy, then you're way over the RDA. If you're doing cod liver oil, God forbid. Do you know that retinol palmitate, and people will say, oh, synthetic vitamin A is different than natural vitamin A. It turns into the same thing in the body. In fact, retinol palmitate is the ingredient in cod liver oil, right? It is the ingredient. And if you're eating animal forms of vitamin A, preform, those are retinol esters, right? A lot of times I'll say retinol online or on Twitter because I want people to know that this thing is an alcohol. This thing, vitamin A, goes into the same detox pathway as ethanol, as tequila, as vodka. The same metabolic detox pathway. We have some young cats in one-of-ones that they're like, yo, I went out drinking with my friends and I didn't even get drunk. And he's like, and they were throwing up everywhere. They had bad hangovers. He was like, I didn't feel anything. Like, yeah, because your detox pathway is so open and so clean, and your liver has just been smiling at you with no work to do. Imagine that. You eat high vitamin A all day. You take a liver supplement, a fish oil, a multi, and then you go out drinking alcohol. Are you seeing how people are destroying their liver and they don't even know it? Non-alcoholic fatty liver is higher than it's ever been. And the doctors will say, oh, stop drinking. And you'll say, hey, doc, I don't even drink. And they're like, well, just eat better. Well, what do I eat? Oh, did you know that foods high in vitamin A are damaging your liver? Did you know that, like, we have guys in their 20s who have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease who aren't even fat? How is that happening? Right? How is that happening? So have that conversation with your friends and family and show them the research, show them these videos, show them these testimonies, and it just makes sense. Guys, our ancestors were not consuming vitamin A in an unreasonable amount. They weren't doing dairy 3 times a day. They weren't eating these dairy foods all day long. They weren't eating massive amounts of eggs. They were eating these colorful plants seasonally. I'm down here in South Florida. The neighbor has a mango tree. Those mangoes come once a year. You got people eating mangoes every day of their life, 365 days. That's not natural. These foods were seasonal. We weren't designed. Okay. What's the deal with herbs? Most herbs are slowing down your detox pathway. Most herbs are doing the same things that drugs are doing. They're slowing down your ALDH and your ADH detox pathway. They're a drug effect, and they're masking symptoms. They're hiding things away, right? These are medicines. A lot of people will go on these herbs for forever. They're quote unquote medicines. Who's on a medicine forever? Sick people. So if you embody sickness, if you identify as a sick person, then you would be doing an herb or a medicine your entire life, right? These things we get so twisted and confused, where the old school medicine man would have these herbs and these remedies and these contraptions. First of all, way different environment. And this was a once in a blue moon thing. This was a drug effect masking symptoms thing. You weren't designed to take these herbs in all day, every day. And a lot of these herbs, I'll give you an example. If you're doing black pepper, are you doing the peppercorn, or did they crack the peppercorn for you? Did you know that if they cracked the peppercorn for you, that's now mold, and that now got wet and now got oxidized and exposed to air? Just a small example, right? Turmeric is a new super herb that everyone thinks is a anti-cancer. It happens to be high in vitamin A. It happens to cause a lot of problems. Gallbladder issues, liver issues, side effects of turmeric. Okay? Side effects of turmeric. Digestive issues. Turmeric can cause upset stomach, diarrhea, nausea, bloating, flatulence, stomach ulcers, especially in high doses, and it can worsen acid reflux and gallstones. Turmeric can have allergic reactions such as hives, rash, belly pain. Turmeric contains soluble oxalates, which can bind to calcium and cause major kidney stones. Iron absorption. Turmeric can reduce the body's ability to absorb iron. So people with iron deficiency or who take iron supplements should be careful with their turmeric intake. Here's just another example of what we think is something that's good for us. The gurus come on the TV and they say, take your turmeric, and it's just not good for you. I've seen it cause anemia in people, and it's yellow, it's bitter. I wouldn't recommend turmeric to anyone. Type in iron deficiency anemia, high dose turmeric. It's another toxin. It's another BS thing. And how do you know? It's yellow. It's the color of vitamin A. It's BS. So that's the deal with herbs. Majority of herbs are BS. I'm sorry, guys. Less is more. You want to be healthy? You want to be wealthy? You want to be thriving? Give your liver a break. These gurus, man, Brian Johnson taking 150 pills a day. I feel bad for people who are following him, man. You are following a fembot Nazi tech millionaire down a freaking one-way trap door. All of a sudden, dude's into health. We've been doing this. We did what he's doing 10 years ago. We learned the hard way 10 years ago with this stuff. Now I'm watching this guy, because he has a bunch of money, he's coming on the TV screen in live time, getting wrecked in front of everyone and having people following him. Comes on the other day that he has joint pain. That's because he's doing all these colorful plants and carotenoids. And the guy doesn't even eat meat. Doesn't go out in the sun. That's the definition of false light. I feel so much better, and I am skinny, and I have more energy. Me too. What are your top 5 foods? Bison, steak, clean chicken, beans, organic oats, apples, and bananas. Those are probably my top 5 right now, but I switch it up a lot. I post in one-on-ones pretty much every day. I post what I eat. Pretty much every day I post what I eat. Are we adding up the macros? How much protein per sitting? I try to tell everybody 100 grams of protein or more a day. if you want to get better. I try to do 200 grams protein a day. I'm about 210 pounds usually. I walk around 208, like 6'3". I've gotten up to 220. So it depends what you're trying to do, right? And this is a practice and an art form. And if you're competing, if you're an athlete, if you are a long distance athlete, ultras or triathlons or marathons, then your mileage may vary. If you're just someone who's getting better, if you're an obese person who's trying to lose weight, then you got to, I'm not a big guy tracking calories. I've never counted a calorie in my life. But if you are obese but we have people on low vitamin A diet who aren't tracking and they're overeating and they're still losing weight. And we have people who can, once they get to their ideal weight, can kind of eat as much as they want and they really don't gain weight. I'm not saying that's going to be you guys, but if you are obese and trying to lose weight, get one of those food trackers and get one of those step counters and get on a low vitamin A diet and get your 10,000 steps a day. You can do 10-minute walks after every meal, or you can do one 45-minute to an hour walk. The 10-minute walks are better for a lot of people because compliance is the science, and it's a lot easier to walk 3 or 4 times a day for most people after every meal than it is to say go to the gym for an hour, right? So you're done eating, you walk out your front door, you set a timer for 5 minutes, and then you walk back the other way. You walk back the other way, that's a 10-minute walk. You're out to eat with friends or family, and do not get directly into that car. Set a timer for 5 minutes, walk one way, walk back. And there's a study out of Japan that showed not only is that superior for metabolism, and that it was better in the study than one 40-minute walk. And it makes sense, right? Because if you're walking 4 times a day for 10 minutes, you're less sedentary than the person who's just walking once, right? I haven't gone full hardcore low vitamin A diet yet, but I have changed my foods and I stopped taking my multivitamin containing vitamin A. Huge. Huge. Multivitamins are the #1 selling vitamin, and multi-ingredient supplements are one of the top reasons for cholestasis, which is liver damage, right? How does it make sense that in this small little pill, you can get a day's worth of nutrition? And if you're getting way more nutrients than you would on a plate of food, that's not natural. That's a chemical effect. That's a drug effect. That's going to spike hormones. That's going to make your liver work overtime, right? You can't replicate a good plate of food in a little pill. And yes, our soil is depleted, but that's why we go to essential minerals, right? That's why we go to essential minerals, and you can test that stuff. I have been off caffeine for 2 months, but I drank a cup of decaf. Is that taking me back 90 days? No. It could take you back a week or 2, maybe. I don't know about the decaf. I know there's still some of the pesticides in the decaf. You know, I know that there's still some of the stuff we don't like in the decaf. But other the decaf process can be pretty toxic because a lot of times they use chemicals and they can't fully extract it from the end product. So water processed decaf is probably okay, right? But you got to think, how did you feel before you ever started drinking coffee? You know, how did you feel? How did you look? Childlike energy. Somewhere along the way, you stopped sleeping. You started going to bed later, started waking up earlier, and you went to caffeine for a crutch, and you became dependent, right? And then what we know about caffeine is going to raise all your hormones. It's going to raise epinephrine, norepinephrine, which is adrenaline, and you're going to be running on adrenaline. It's going to raise your testosterone, your estrogen, your stress response. And then what happens is you become dependent on it. And then you need, instead of 1 cup, you need 2 cups. Instead of 2 cups, you need 3 cups. Then you got big accounts on here, guys, who are drinking 5 to 10 cups a day, bragging about it. That's nothing to brag about. You are constantly hitting your gas pedal. You are constantly punching your adrenals and your liver. And it's going to come a day where you're going to wake up and you're going to be adrenal fatigued, right? And you're running off adrenaline. It's liquid anxiety. So it's nothing to brag about. What's cool to brag about is you don't have any caffeine and you are good to go. You wake up ready to go. You wake up ready to run, ready to train. If you wake up and you're dependent on something to make you feel good or to give you energy or strength, you are handicapped. That's a handicap. Straight up. Use it once in a while. It is a performance-enhancing drug on the NCAA ban list for a reason. Use it once in a while if you want, when you really need it. But when you become dependent on it, that's NPC behavior. You're online at Starbucks. Look at the people who are online at Starbucks. I have been remembering my dreams way more now, and they're much more vivid. Amazing phenomenon on a low vitamin A diet. Amazing phenomenon. Have you heard anything about helping gout? I have. In fact, there's a study. I have heard about vitamin A helping gout. Let's look at this study for you. Vitamin A, gout. I think it was Anthony Mawson. Yep. Gout and vitamin A intoxication. Is there a connection? Several lines of indirect evidence implicate vitamin A intoxication associated mainly with impaired renal function of gouty arthritis. Retinoic acid should therefore be present in high concentration. Yep. Here's this study. Gout and vitamin A toxicity. Is there a connection? And they don't let me into the whole study. I need to get access to this. Let me share this with you here. Let's see if I can get this whole study. See full PDF. Here, I'll share this study with you, man. I'll dump it right here in the chat. Boom. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I have heard about vitamin A helping gout. It's interesting with my own situation and learning about the team benefits of beans, and I'm dreading with a corrupt landlord on which I'm about to spill the beans. I don't know what that means, but I just told my older brother to get off fish oil. He asked if you are a nutritionist. I believe you. He sounds stubborn. Yeah, so guys, you do not have to be a nutritionist. You do not have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a health coach to look up and research and be a detective and get your debate hat on and find out why fish oil is no good for you. First of all, fish oil has PUFAs. Okay, so fish oil, PUFAs, and if it's, you know, if the polyunsaturated fatty acids are not enough for you, the vitamin A in the cod liver oil, right? I have gout due to high uric acid, and I've been looking at diet option due to not being able to motivation. Today, I found there's a study that PUFA helps the disease. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Fish oil is another new thing that we do not need, right? Your parents didn't grow up. They might have taken cod liver oil in a totally different environment. Fish oils became popular in the 90s. The public's health has never been worse. Fish oil is not helping the problem. It's only making it worse. So I would totally get off the fish oil. And I would tell him this. Let me find my tweet on fish oil. People are getting vitamin A toxicity from fish oils, yes. There is cases of hypervitaminosis A following long-term use of fish oil, yes. It is toxic, it is rancid, and the unsaturated fatty acids do contain vitamin A. Oh yeah, by the way, do you know who makes fish oils? Big Pharma. Big Pharma makes fish oils. Most fish oil is completely worthless. At best, worthless. At worst, very harmful. Most sources are a total scam, and there's way better ways to get omega-3s, like red meat, like grass-fed meat. We are thriving on a low vitamin A diet. We are not taking fish oil. Our omega-3s are great. It's another save your money. For $10 a month, you can save hundreds to $1,000 a month. $10 a month in 101s, and you can go on vacation with how much money you save on supplements. A lot of times I get people off supplements, and like week 2, they're like, yo, I feel better already. I'm like, yeah, because you stopped throwing 100 things. You get people who I go, send me a list of everything you're taking, and it's 2 to 3 pages long sometimes of the supplements people are taking. People have supplement graveyards in their cabinet. Do you have supplements in your cabinet that you haven't touched for months? That's part of spring cleaning. Part of your spring cleaning should be throwing out majority of your trash supplements, because that's what they are. They are trash. Clean eating first. Pumpkin seeds. If you're going to do pumpkin seeds, do them once in a while and do the heirloom organic. There's an heirloom organic pumpkin seed from Oregon. I like to mix them with pine nuts, but I haven't been doing them in the last 6 months because I'm trying to get my vitamin A levels down to around 0 for the sake of science. So while I'm on this journey, I'll do pine nuts once in a while, but I'm going to lower my pumpkin seed because, not the worst vitamin A, but not the best either. What do I use to clean my hair? Just water. Right now, it's just water. It ain't water, baby. That was my brother Nedick. He used to say it ain't water because it was just sweat. Health is wealth. What's up, Liam? Liam Gunning in the house. What's up, Dylan? W Stream. How long are you going to roam this earth for? I don't know. Yeah, what chat am I reading? I'm reading the StreamYard chat. But I want to see questions in the YouTube, and I want to see questions in the X. We got 770 listeners. We'll go for like another half hour, an hour. I want to see subscribers to the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. We got 659 subscribers, and we just need, so this is week 1, episode 1. So a year from now, let's see how many subscribers we have. I'm going to get the cool setup in the background too with the mic and all that shit. Right now I got bare bones here. X is better. Yeah. I'm reading the X chat too. You guys can post your, and we'll share the screen and go through some of our X. Let me go through some of our X comments here. But yeah, fish oils are trash. You do not need them. Save your money. And you can do better. Liver is trash. Today, Karen Hurd gave us another reason to eat liver. And that is because majority of the cow liver you are eating, the cow is executed in a fear-based state, and their liver gets pumped of adrenaline hormone as the cow is dying. If you didn't need another reason to not eat liver, that is it. Liver is the most toxic organ of the animal. It is the animal's sewage waste plant. It is the animal's cesspool of toxins. Your liver stores all the toxins to protect all your other tissue and blood. So you are eating the part of the animal where all the bad stuff is stored away to protect that animal. It is not nature's multivitamin. And people are forced, yeah, you're right. People are forcing themselves to eat liver. Even worse though now, instead of being forced, instead of holding their nose, they're putting it in a capsule and they're not even tasting it, so they don't even know how toxic it is. They don't even know how freaking toxic it is. It's a crime. It's a straight up crime. And I don't even think these guys, Liver King and Paul Saladino, I don't even think they know what they're doing. I think they're just dumb and ignorant, and they're making so much money off of selling dried desiccated powder. They're getting desiccated powder for pennies on the dollar and then marking it up, and their profit margins are insane. They do not want to hear about liver being bad for you. How is meat low vitamin A when vitamin A is fat soluble and meat can easily be 50% fat? So that's a great question. That's one of the reasons I eat bison. Bison is one of the lowest fat, highest zinc meats. I've been eating bison religiously since 2020. I'm a huge fan of bison, and then sirloin, and then filet mignon, and then 90-10 ground beef or 95 ground beef. But the only real, where you got to really worry about vitamin A and the fat is pork. Pork fat has retinoic acid. Human beings, mammals, human beings and pigs are the only mammals that store retinoic acid in their adipose tissue. That's the real reason pork is bad. Pork is in that adipose tissue. So you eat the low-fat meat. You eat the... What's another huge popular thing now? Wagyu steak, the fatty ribeye. I won't say no to a ribeye, but I'm not going to make ribeye a habit. There's 3 ways scientists and doctors give rats liver damage, cholestasis. High-fat diet, high-sugar diet, low-protein diet. We weren't designed to eat high-fat diets. We just weren't. There are no centenarians who are keto. Show me one centenarian who's doing keto. You know? Show me one centenarian who's doing keto. There's not one. There probably won't be one. And I don't know about you, but majority of my friends who go keto, they don't last. They don't last long. They don't last long. Luckily, I didn't even try keto because I had gallstones that I fixed on a low vitamin A diet. I'm not on a no-fat diet. I'm not on a low. I don't go out of my way because I'm getting fat from my red meat. How is Sean Baker thriving on carnivore but eats no fiber? I'm going to ask him that this week. I'm going to see him. I think Sean Baker is an outlier. I think Sean Baker is probably a type O blood type. I think he's thriving now, but we got to watch. The cool thing about the health niche and the space we're in is that we're going to get to see. I've been following the health gurus for 15, 20 years now. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of accounts stop doing what they were doing, disappear. It takes a special person to kind of be like, hey, I'm pivoting from that. I'm trying this. With carnivore, first of all, you go from a standard American diet, high in vitamin A, to eating just muscle meat. You're going to get better right away. You're going to feel better right away because you're stopping majority of the intake of poisons, right? You're stopping that. Then you're putting a pause button. The issue is you're not getting rid of the toxins that accumulated in the liver in the first place, right? You're not getting rid of that. What's going to happen in 5, 10, 20 years? There's the guy, Dr. Salisbury, the inventor of the Salisbury steak. He was healing people with just water, salt, and beef. And he had great success. This is when was Dr. Salisbury doing this? Salisbury diet. He was doing this in the 1800s. Okay, James H. Salisbury. But if you go to those Salisbury studies, there was people, meat doesn't cause mucus, dairy causes mucus, vitamin A causes mucus, protein doesn't cause mucus, dairy causes mucus. Once again, people are villainizing red meat for what dairy and eggs and those foods do, right? Mucus is a detox effect, right? Mucus is a straight up detox effect. And the more toxic your liver, the more allergies, the more snot, the more mucus. And one of the things for me on a low vitamin A diet is, for 3 weeks when I first started, I was just dumping mucus. And I was eating meat every day, right? Then that went away. I'm still eating meat every day. And before that, I wasn't getting sick at all. So it wasn't until I stopped the intake of high vitamin A foods that my body was like, okay, you can get rid of this now. It was actually pretty fascinating. It's like, oh, the body's like, oh, you're going to stop doing this? All right, now we're going to start unleashing it. Because otherwise it just holds on to it to protect you, because it can't get rid of it as fast as you're intaking it. Brandon Carter, famous YouTube fitness influencer, has been on keto for a while now, and he had to jump on TRT in his late 30s. Yeah. I think he's also on major, correct me if I'm wrong, he's on major caffeine, right? So here's the thing, guys. A lot of these people are going to be like, this is the diet, this is what's right, I'm the best, but they're on caffeine and TRT. How is your diet working if you had to resort to TRT and caffeine? You can't tell me about what to eat at that point. And the TRT is also helping your body, right? I'm going to be 40 years old in August. We're going to see my body and my shape and my muscles get better. I'm off caffeine and I'm doing no TRT. And we're going to see my testosterone go up. That's a true biohacker. That means your diet is working. That means you've figured out how our system works for real. If you're on TRT and you're on caffeine, you're cheating. And I don't care that you're cheating. It is what it is. I'll still compete against you. I'll still play sports against you. I'll still fight you, whatever it is. I'm not going to say, oh, he won because he cheated. I have no problem playing a sport against somebody. I have no problem rolling jiu-jitsu with somebody who's on steroids. No problem. If you beat me, you beat me. I'm not even going to say it was for steroids. My problem is people are out here messed up, effed up. They're looking for answers. Your average guy would much rather just know why he has low T and how to fix it, rather than going on a lifetime of shooting themselves once a week. Wouldn't you rather have your testosterone at 900 to 1,000 naturally, where you don't have to shoot yourself? The natural way is way better in the long run, because when you go on testosterone, meanwhile, if you are taking steroids and you are on a high vitamin A diet and you are taking liver and multivitamins, you are on a one-way trap door to death. And you might look and feel good now, but you are headed into the wrong direction big time. If you were on steroids and then overloading your liver with supplements and vitamin A, I saw somebody who said you got to take fish oil if you're on steroids. This is what I mean by blind leading the blind. Oh, your liver's already compromised? Well, let's give you high vitamin A. No. Yeah, he is hardcore caffeine. Yeah. And listen, people will say, oh, you're hating. I'm not hating. Congratulations on the success. I'm sure these people are really cool. I'm not hating at all. We are shining the light on that. It doesn't have to be that way, right? If you're good and your liver's clean and you're low vitamin A and you're thriving and you want to take a little sauce and a little gear just to get even more mutant freak elite, That's on you, and you do what you want to do. But if you have a damaged liver and you've crashed your levels and you are low energy and you're angry and irritable and you're looking at the TRT anti-aging doc for the answer, you are in trouble. Straight up. You are in trouble. And the guy you're asking for help, those guys don't live. Anti-aging doctors die every day because a lot of anti-aging doctors get high on their own supply. That's a fact. That's a fact. Anti-aging doctor, you see these 60-year-old doctors jacked out of their mind. Those guys aren't living long. And people say, "Oh, it's the life in the years, not the years in the life." No, because what they're saying is their diet, their way didn't work. They were low energy. They felt like shit. They had to go on a synthetic hormone just to feel good, but lower their life expectancy. That makes no sense. Figure it out. Figure out how to have your cake and eat it too. You can. Aging is not years. Aging is poisoning. Once you figure out why you damaged your liver, then you can slowly stop doing that and slowly start getting better. It might be a year, 2 years, 3 years, but you better believe it's way worth it. You better believe it's way worth it. I love the interviews, and you are doing so much good information, motivation for us. Thank you, Hopeful Healing. Yeah, if you guys have any good guests who want to come on the podcast, the more living proof we can get of the low vitamin A diet, the better. Because we're going beyond the pale. We're going past the status quo. You go tell your mom and your family that you're going on a low vitamin A diet. A lot of people might say, "Hey, you're gonna go blind," right? You tell people you drink distilled water, they're gonna say, "Ooh, you leach minerals." Most times when people are giving you, if you go poll 100 people randomly in the public and 99 say distilled water is gonna leach minerals, that's probably the dumb answer. That's probably the first page Google result answer. That's probably people who don't know what they're talking about and haven't done the heavy lifting, haven't read the terms and conditions. I've been drinking distilled water for 10 years. I get minerals from food and sometimes supplements. There's no mineral deficiency. Test my hair, my minerals are good. And we know about the ratios for minerals. We know about the natural way is better for the long run. You really feel like a bison. I'm starting to look like a bison, I think. Listen, you are what you eat. You are what your animal eats. You are what your parents ate. You are what your grandparents ate. What you are eating right now is what your children will be. Over 50% of children now are born with jaundice, which means they're born with liver injuries, which means they're born vitamin A toxic, inherited from their parents. Why do you think a jaundiced baby is yellow? Vitamin A is yellow. Why do you think people's eyes get yellow? Their teeth get yellow. My teeth are getting whiter. They're still kind of yellow. My teeth were way more yellow when I had vitamin A toxicity because your bile gets the vitamin A, the toxic bile, and that goes into your saliva, from your blood to your saliva. That's why people are getting yellow teeth. We're seeing people's teeth get whiter on a low vitamin A diet. It'll probably be a year, 2 years from now. I'm also seeing my teeth remineralize. You ever look in the light and you could see like people's teeth are see-through? My teeth were getting like see-through at the bottom. Now that my teeth are starting to remineralize. This is huge. These are all things I was told was aging and just to accept. I refused to accept it. Another thing that went away from me was waking up to pee in the middle of the night. Waking up to pee in the middle of the night was huge inconvenience. People said, "Hey, that's normal. Get used to it. It's aging." I don't wake up to pee in the middle of the night anymore. So what was my body? My kidneys, my bladder wanted something out and would wake me up to get it out. I don't want to cheat, but always wanted to see how fast and good I could get at skateboarding on juice. Easing into the diet. Go low to vitamin A first. Go low vitamin A first. If you still want to do steroids or juice or gear or whatever or supplements, get your liver clean first. And guys, liver tests do not tell the story. You need a biopsy, and I don't recommend that to anyone. You would need a biopsy. Thor, are you religious by any chance? Not really. Not really religious. Spiritual. I believe in God, but I don't go to church on Sunday. But I do go out in the sun. I believe that a lot of the early religions were based on allegory off the stars, sun, and planets. That's why we pray on Sunday, right? Saturday, Saturn Day. I think there's some truth to that. I think the original elite, they had a great understanding for the star and the sun. And that's how they were able to predict eclipses and create calendars and control the masses. Before the internet and TV and technology and electricity, if you could tell people that in 3 days the sun was going to turn black, you think you would have some power over those people? You think they would attribute special qualities to you? You better believe it. That was like the original elite. That was the original elite. Thoughts on the lectin conversation around eating beans? Lectins are once you soak and cook the beans, the lectins are removed. And we're going to beans for soluble fiber because the soluble fiber nets onto the fat-soluble toxins and then goes into your intestines and colon and into the toilet bowl instead of recycling. 95% of toxic bile gets recycled 20 to 70 times a day. The more you intercept that toxic bile and poop it out into the toilet, that's detox. Everybody wants to do a juice fast. Everybody wants to do 30 days of milk thistle. That's not detox. Detox is a lifestyle. Detox is straight up a lifestyle where you're getting rid of fat-soluble toxins using soluble fiber. Beans, psyllium husk, organic oats. There's a reason the longest living family in the world, the Mellis family, 861 years old combined age, eats a 3-bean soup every day. Oh, but that diet is boring. Food is not entertainment, guys. If you're going to food for entertainment, you're going to an early grave. Variety is the spice of life, and the spice is killing everyone. It's okay to eat boring. The picky eater was right. It's okay to eat simple and plain. It's okay to eat the same thing every day. That whole thing of like, you got to eat variety and plant-based and eat the rainbow. Eat the rainbow is a total psyop. Total psyop. What else is rainbow? A lot of rainbows in the news ever since Eat the Rainbow. Are those two correlated? Low vitamin A diet came at a good time for me, still being single and needing every spare moment preparing court papers, so it's good to not spend so much time cooking. Yeah, a huge benefit of the low vitamin A diet is I go to the supermarket, I'm getting 3, 4, 5 things, I'm in and I'm out, I'm saving money, and I feel and look better than ever. I'm avoiding most of the toxic produce plants that sit on trucks and ships. That's another thing about this produce game, man. That's some perishable stuff, man. It's like you got to pick through all the berries to see which ones aren't moldy. And there's some good berries. I know a man who can debate you greatly. He eats fruit and is 30 years old. Yeah, man, send him in. Send them in. Majority of people, if you just fed them fruit, they're going to die. Majority of people, if you go to the Facebook frugivore groups and see how those people are doing. You guys remember Raw Bros? I bet you nobody remembers Raw Bros. All they were doing was eating raw fruit. Where are they now? I'll tell you where they are. They had to start eating meat. They started to eat meat. If you do frugivore diet, if you follow some guy online just because he looks like he's doing good on frugivore, how do you know that's all he's doing? How do you know? Who's this guy, the doctor who comes on frugivore? Man, I've seen some messed up stories with the frugivore people. Oh, my hair, my nails are falling off. Oh, it's just a detox. It's just a detox. Just keep going. Detox is not your nails falling off. Detox is not your teeth falling out. I've seen nails fall out, teeth fall out. What group of people survived on just fruit? Did your ancestors survive on just fruit? Who are your ancestors? Where are they? One of ones for 3 works, never felt better. This is just the beginning to fruit, level up. Yeah, man, it is just the beginning. It is just the beginning. And it's only going to get better, and we're only going to grow bigger, and we got a lot of special announcements in the future. One of ones is going to turn into in real life community where we all live the way we're supposed to live. Big W's. How long have I been doing low vitamin A diet? 6 months. 6 months. January, February, March, April, May. It'll be 6 months. And I'm about to get a blood test next week. So don't be surprised if my vitamin A levels went up before they go back down. That's another thing everyone's proving, that your liver is dumping it and getting rid of it, right? Makes zero sense. If vitamin A is essential in a vitamin, why would your body be dumping it? And why would people start thriving once their levels got below 10, which in America, below 10 is severely deficient. Below 20 is deficient. Grant Ginroux, he's in Canada. His level, vitamin A serum level, went to 0.1. The labs reached out to him and were like, hey, we're worried about you. You're severely deficient in vitamin A. And he said, hey, thanks for the concern. He said, thank you so much for your concern. I'm going to take that into consideration. That's how you do that. By the way, the only real way to test is the retinol esters, and they don't even have that test. They don't even have that test yet. No, I don't think they ever will. Would you rather look like a cow or a bison? A bison. The cow runs in the field and breaks its ankle. The bison runs into the storm. Bison's one of the only animals that runs into the storm. You see the video of the bison throwing around these little kids, man? The bison does not play. So you want to be big and strong like a beast, you got to eat the beast. And unfortunately, most bison are crossbred with cattle. We don't even have the real bison anymore, guys. The real bison was like 5 to 10 times the size of the bison we're eating. Imagine that. How often do you feel like you need to brush your teeth? I swear my teeth have been so clean on low vitamin A. I've been experimenting with just before bed only. Yeah. And you see in one of ones, we have the toothpaste and the toothbrush and the certain ones. This was something I thought about today too. It came a time in my 20s where all of a sudden I felt like I had to brush my teeth and shower more. I just felt dingy and dirty. I felt the film on my teeth. And I remember saying, like, why do all of a sudden, like, I used to be able to go a full day without a shower and like still feel clean and look clean. And then all of a sudden I was like, man, I feel like I always got to shower. That's another thing on low vitamin A diet. You start to clean up. So many people saying that they don't have BO anymore. The way to heal body odor, low vitamin A diet, zinc and selenium, and then topical magnesium oil and low sulfur. So many people cut out the garlic and the onions and the spices, and they cut out the dairy and go low vitamin A, and then all of a sudden you see why the way we live can save people so much money on multiple fronts. And deodorant's another way people are getting aluminum, unfortunately. Deodorant is a massive way people are getting aluminum. Aluminum pots and pans, right? Aluminum baking sheets and cooking sheets. God forbid cooking with aluminum foil. You got people, if you're at the cookout using aluminum foil, I do not want to be invited to your cookout. I do not want to be invited to your cookout if you're using aluminum foil on that grill. Then aluminum cans. Sparkling water cans, soda cans, beer cans. What's one of the most popular waters now? Liquid Death. Liquid Death, and the water is delicious, right? Because anything not in plastic tastes delicious. What's one of the other popular waters? Mountain Valley. Why does everyone love Mountain Valley? It's in a green glass bottle. Oh, it's in glass. It's healthy, but it's high calcium water. Mountain Valley water is technically hard water. If you research and Google what is hard water, Mountain Valley spring water is technically hard water. You're drinking hard water. You're drinking high calcium water. Well, how do people get calcified? A lot of different ways today, but their sediment water is one of them. That's why we drink reverse osmosis or distilled water. It's simple. It's simple stuff. It's pure water. If they changed the name of distilled water to pure water, it would be a totally different conversation. What does the water say when you go to the store and distilled water? Ingredients, purified water. What is rainwater? Purified water. So yeah, bone broth, I don't do bone broth because the animals we have today are not the same animals that our ancestors had, and bones are where the lead is. There's lead inside bones, right? These protein powders, these collagens, they're like the sugar of the protein powder industry. They're like the refined sugar. Lead is stored in bones. And if you are having a high vitamin A cow, which a lot of these animals are fed carotenoid-rich diets, that means more of the toxins into the organs, the bones, the fat, right? So I don't do bone broth. My bone density is on point because a low vitamin A diet is another way to get your bone density on point. Avoiding vitamin D3 supplements is another way to get your bone density on point. Farmers walks, deadlifts, squats, heavy lifting is another way to get your bone density on point. When people say, oh, it's normal that your bone density lowers as you age, it's not normal because we're seeing 60 and 70-year-old people on low vitamin A diet where they had low bone density, and then the next time they get the scan, their bone density is up, and their doctors are like, how did you do that? You stopped ingesting toxins that leach calcium from your bones, and then not only do you stop doing that, then your body's like, okay, I can start putting these things back. I can start restoring. Your body would rather restore and renew than repair, right? Your body doesn't want to go in and like repair the broken thing. If it can, the body would just rather make a new thing, right? And then the broken thing can be a waste product. Come on, Thor, don't fall for numerology BS. It's all satanic witch stuff. Guys, so, okay, numerology is satanic witch stuff. So you're admitting we're all Satanists. We have a birthday. We have an address. We have a social security number. People live on 1st Street. People live on 3rd Street. It's the 28th today. You are a Satanist if you believe in numbers. You don't believe in numbers or numerology, you got to go live in the woods, bro. You got to go live in the woods, and you can't keep a calendar. And you can't be the firstborn, and you can't run a race and be the first place. Numerology is symbology, is letterology, is colorology. Numbers are letters. If you don't believe in numerology, then you don't believe in letters. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. This English language I'm speaking right now is a bastardized language from a German orchestra person. The guy who invented English is like a German musician. I forget the freaking guy's name. If you don't believe in numerology, you don't believe in first place. There's 1,000 people watching this live stream. No one's watching it now. Numerology can be a simple tool you use to help your life because you're going with the energy, or numerology can be a thing that you let wreck yourself and cripple yourself. Like if you're out there saying, oh my God, I got to wait till the 3rd day of the 5th month to send this letter to this person. Then you're crippled, right? Then you're crippled. But if you're like, yo, that person's born on the 1st, they're a natural born leader. Now and I'm going to choose that person's energy to be a leader in whatever I'm building. Now you're using the tool to your advantage, and you're not having that tool use you. So if you don't believe in numerology, you don't belong in society, because numbers are everywhere, right? Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. Hove. Is he a Satanist? I don't know, maybe. Is Diddy a Satanist? Maybe. Do they worship on Saturday, Saturn Day? Right? What's today? Tuesday? Mars. Tuesday's named after Mars. Did you know all the days of the week are named after planet? Monday. I was born on Monday, a moon day. So what does that say about me? Right? You got to go back and see what these numbers mean, what they symbolize, right? 22 bones in the skull, 33 bones in the spine, 11 bones in the rib. What does that mean? Is that something? What is that? 22 bones in the skull, 33 bones in the spine, and then you get to the 7th chakra, and that's Christ consciousness. Christ died at 33. People are making fun of numerology, saying a Satanist. The Bible uses numerology. They killed Jesus at 33, at the 33rd vertebrae. Freezing cold water turns to liquid at 33 degrees. The number 4 and 7 are the most found numbers at the end of the Bible. 4 quarters, 4 horsemen, 7 days a week, 4 seasons, 7 deadly sins, 7 seas. Your Bible is filled with numerology. Filled with it. Yeah. Don't, if you come on here trying to say that something is something and I'm something, you're just going to get dunked on. You're going to get dunked on. Like we're in the backyard and we lower the hoop to like 9 feet and I'm just going to windmill dunk on your face. Thor, what are you going to do when you lose your cookware? Fruit falls and rots just for you. Well, how am I going to lose my cookware? You know, I got beans and rice for days, bro. That's the other thing with this carnivore topic. That's a good point, Gristmill. What are the carnivores going to do if we can't get meat for a few months? And they can't eat rice and beans. You got to be one thing to be successful in life. You can't be one-dimensional. You got people out here severely one-dimensional, only can eat one food. That's risky. But maybe they stockpile jerky. Lucky Charms are a psyop. With all due respect, most have no clue how to eat fruit the correct way. Yeah, man, you can't tell people to eat all fruit. You just can't. Opinion on eating everything raw. I think the human brain evolved on cooking food. I think people cook their food too much, and I think people's food isn't as fresh as it is, and that's part of the reason. And that, you know, I cook my steaks rare, medium rare. I won't go really eating them everything raw. I think the people who are eating like chicken raw and like meat raw all the time, I wouldn't do that. If you're overcooking it, you are killing some of the enzymes. I think it helps to have at least a percentage of raw live foods in your life, whether it's apples or bananas or peeled kiwis, right? Or maybe some iceberg or celery. I'm going for the low vitamin A plants when I'm eating plants. I'm not going for the high vitamin A plants ever. The high carotenoid plants, especially most of these carotenoid plants are new. They're only in the last 3,000 years. These carotenoid plants, we didn't evolve on them. The X chat is delayed for you. Thor, I was wondering your thoughts on Tudka. Tudka's no good. Tudka's no good. That's how I first found out about a lot of this stuff. Tudka and Udka. Tudka is just taurine with the Udka. It's this toxic secondary bile acid. And there's some good short-term studies, but taking more bile is never the solution when you have toxic bile leaking into your system, right? So Tudka is not the answer. The answer is getting yourself to how you were before you poisoned yourself. You know, that's the answer. So Tudka is I remember I did a post on Tudka, and that was how I first stumbled into Dr. Garrett Smith, was his Tudka stuff. And he's right. And he's right. If you want to use a crutch at first, use a little taurine, especially if you don't eat a lot of red meat. The problem with vegans and vegetarians will be taurine, zinc, and maybe B12, right? That's it. Guys, I got vegans hitting me up like this. Hey, man, I have this wrong with me, that wrong with me. I'm severely underweight, and this and these three things are wrong with me, but I can't eat meat because of religious reasons. What religion is that religion is more important than you being healthy? What religion makes you sick? What religion would make you not eat protein? Right? So I'm not saying you have to eat meat. You could probably be a vegetarian, vegan on low vitamin A diet, rice, beans, low vitamin A plants, and then you would have to make sure your zinc, taurine, and B12 were right. But if you're not getting protein, the low protein diet is one of the ways they give the liver injury to the rats. Almost 1K. Wow. Yeah, we're thriving. This is the first stream, one of one, stream number 1. A year from now, we'll be on like stream 300, and we'll be like in a Ferrari live streaming with the low vitamin A. We're gonna get a Hummer and wrap it, low vitamin A wrap on a Mercedes van. Diagnosed with Stargardt's disease almost 30 years ago. It's a shame I'm just hearing this information, and all my retinal specialists told me not to use Retin A on my eyes. Yeah. Guys, eating vitamin A is not the only way people are getting toxic. People are also getting really toxic with the cosmetics, with the skin product. Putting things on your skin is a great way to either help yourself or wreck yourself, straight up. And if you're putting retinol products on your skin every day, we went to the dermatologist the other day, and one of the dermatologists, her skin was just, battered. And I was like, she definitely took one too many chemical peels. Chemical peel, aka a yellow peel, is a vitamin A peel. And the way the chemical peel works in cosmetics is it burns off, vaporizes a layer of the person's skin. It destroys your layer of skin, so you have new skin, and it looks so good. It works. Then if you go for rounds 4 and 5, you get severely injured. This is what people are doing to the inside of their body. They're chemical peeling their insides with too much vitamin A. That's Crohn's, ulcers, IBS, celiac. Did you guys see the podcast when we had Weldon on? One of the Love Your Liver members, Weldon. 3 years he got off celiac. No longer has celiac. It took him 3 years. Isn't that fascinating that you can have something for 20 years, you can do decades of damage, and all it takes is 3 years of stopping it to fix? Aren't our bodies a miracle? And for some people, that's still too long. If you're in a rush, if you're looking for a magic pill, if you're looking for a quick fix, this is not for you. And you still haven't wrapped your head around what health really is. There are no quick fixes. There are no magic pills. There are no 5-day juice cleanse. All the juice cleanse is doing is giving you too much sugar and too much vitamin A, and you might get a little short-term honeymoon effect, but all you're doing is hurting your liver more and taking steps backward that look like you're taking steps forward. That's straight up all you're doing. Cows and pigs are DNA spliced. Pigs are an interesting conversation. Cows, where's your cow from? No disrespect, 6 months seems a small amount of time. It's obviously working, but some things work for a period of time, become off balance. Like Anthony Chaffee, Sean Baker have been carnivore for 7 years and swear by it. So yeah, I am not lying. I am here for the long haul, and I'm telling people I've been on a low vitamin A for 6 months. Grant Genroux's been on it 9 years. Dr. Garrett Smith's been on it 5 years. And that's why I'm bringing people on my podcast who have been doing this for years. I've tried carnivore. I've tried paleo. I've done vegetarian. I've tried everything. I've tried all the supplements. I've done the GoMad, the raw milk. And that's how I messed myself up. And what I'm seeing is that, first of all, the research I've done, the thousands of hours of research I've done, it's undeniable that vitamin A is not a vitamin and it's a poison. Undeniable. So just the reason those guys are doing good on carnivore is because they've eliminated vitamin A from their diet and they're thriving. Now they're missing a piece of the puzzle. And that's what we're going to prove. Because it's not sustainable. Most people cannot eat just muscle meat for the rest of their life. For most people, that's a sentence. That's a bid. Most people don't want to do that bid. And when you teach them how to get soluble fiber and how they can eat other foods, if Dr. Chaffee and Dr. Baker, all due respect, cool guys, if they could eat other foods, they would. They don't eat other foods because they can't. What we're doing is saying, yo, you can have your cake and eat it too. There's other foods you can still eat. And I'm admittedly still, yeah, it is a small amount of time. And I'm going to be doing this for the next 10 years. And it's probably going to take me 2 to 3 years to get my levels to zero. And I'm going to show the world all of that in the name of science, in the name of health, and to help as many people as we can. I've been health coaching for over 10 years, officially and unofficially. I've always been the bro science bro, the fitness bro, the nutrition bro, the supplement bro. Let me read you a testimonial from a friend that I've been health coaching for 20 years now. 20 years I've been health coaching my friend. And where's his text message? Where did I save this joint? My phone goes to night mode at night. Oh, I'll just go to the stupid message he wrote me. How about that? I don't have to go to my album. I must say a big, long overdue thank you to my longtime friend Thor Torrens for putting me on to so much valuable information on health advice and biohacks over 25 years. We have been friends. I've been doing this stupid biohacking stuff for a while. I've made a lot of mistakes. Most recently, he has put me on the low vitamin A diet, and I must say only after 3 months of cutting out certain foods, the results are staggering. 3 months ago, I had really bad psoriasis all over my back. I'm very happy to say since I've been taking Thor's advice, the psoriasis is completely gone. My happiness, energy, and general attitude towards life has without a doubt shot up. I'm feeling healthier than ever before at 40 years young. Thank you so much, Thor. So yeah, there is no disrespect. You can be skeptical. Then you can go in one of ones where we have 570 people and 99% of the people are saying they're happier, they're dreaming more, they have more energy, they're losing weight, they're more muscular. Like what we're doing is working, right? What we're doing is there's a thing that works and there's a thing that doesn't. I did a lot of the things that didn't work. And if you have even 80% of people saying it's working, that's amazing, right? This is another thing with these liver supplement idiots. If you're selling a supplement, that supplement, if you're lucky, is only going to be good for 80% of your clientele. So you have to, as a man, as a woman, as a ethical business person, you have to say, hey, this pill, this supplement, it's not for everyone. Caveat emptor. Do your own research. Get blood tests. Get a hair mineral test. Instead, we have every Tom, Dick, and Harry selling any and every supplement. And every day you see someone saying, here's the benefits of this supplement. There's so many accounts on Twitter. This is why I started one-on-ones and going so hard. Every day on Twitter, some idiots recommending a supplement, and they're just listing benefits and a short-term study. And then what do? We go out, we go on Amazon, we buy that thing, we click their affiliate link. Even a lot of them are now selling their supplements. And then people like us come along and are like, yo, stop telling people to just blindly take supplements. And then they block us and get mad at us because we come with long-term studies and data, and we know that the liver needs to smile, that people need to give their liver less work, not more work. We know that 20% of liver injuries in the hospital are due to multi-ingredient supplements. You got influencers with 1 million followers selling supplements with 30 different ingredients on the label, man. You got some of the top health gurus in the space selling multi-ingredient supplements with 20 things on the label. And these are the guys who get on TV like a nerd and say all these big words so people get impressed, and then they go buy their supplement and they get the short-term effect and they get the drug effect, and then they end up 5, 10, even sooner, start getting symptoms. Then they go to their real doctor and their doctor's like, I don't know, I can't help you. What have you been doing? And you're like, oh, well, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I've been doing everything. I've been doing raw milk, I've been doing eggs, I've been doing liver, I've been doing fish oil, I've been doing this pre-workout. I've been doing, my favorite influencer does 5 coffees a day, so I've been doing 5. You got to be careful who you're following, man. It's not hate. It's not hate. It's just real talk. Just because someone's a millionaire with 1 million followers and does something doesn't mean it's, just because a guy's on TRT and caffeine and you try to do that and you're like, oh my God, I don't feel good on this. It's because your liver's at a different stage than theirs. They're working their way up to where you might be right now. So you can't be like, well, why can they do it and I can't? There's kids born with jaundice. There's kids who have eczema. There's kids who have arthritis because their liver's already been damaged. They start life with the opposite of a head start. If you were born with jaundice, you were born with liver damage. You shouldn't drink out of colored glass. It's toxic. I'm not concerned about the glass as much as I'm concerned about what's inside the glass. And if your water has high calcium levels, you have hard water. And you're going to get calcified. And people will say, I had a guy say, oh, my blood test came out fine. Your body will keep calcium out of your blood because if you had calcium in your blood, that's a heart attack and you die. This is why blood tests aren't real enough many of the times. You need blood, you need hair, you need symptoms, and you need to take a before, during, and after and work with someone one-on-one. Your blood test is fine because your body is doing everything it can to keep you from dying from a heart attack. So what does that mean? Your joints are calcified, your brain's calcified, your testicles are calcified. You ever heard of a hard flaccid? You know what a hard flaccid is? Where guys' flaccid penis is stiff and not in a good way. Kidney stones, gallstones, bone spurs, arthritis. Your body will put the calcium everywhere. That's what kept getting me fed up is these big accounts saying they got a foam roll and they got to take collagen and that, oh, they're getting older and they have joint pain. And then they're going to post a picture of their Fairlife dairy thing every day. It's like, yeah, you're calcified. Do you know that cow milk has 4 times as much calcium as human breast milk? And that humans were supposed to stop drinking breast milk at around 3 or 4. What do you think is going to happen if you're a grown man continuing to drink from a cow's nipple with 4 times calcium? And then they fortify that milk with palmitate and cholecalciferol, rat poison. And then people are out here like, man, it's just old age. I got a foam roll. I got to take this collagen. You don't know how this game works yet. You don't know how the bodily systems work yet. You're letting food industries run our health department, and you're blind to it. That's cool, but don't put that on us. Thor's reading old messages. Yeah, I'm just reading old messages. How do we make it so the people that pay for the messages go to the top? That's what we got to do. I got to figure out this. I got to figure out this live stream situation. I'm gonna need I got to hire like a virtual assistant once we get some budget. Right now we got to. Right now this is the prototype. This is the beta test run. Dang, he's really behind. Yeah, so what? Your X chat is delayed. If you ever heard someone try to pass a kidney stone, you'll never crave soda again. Yeah. Kidney stones are caused by spinach and kale too. Kidney stones are caused by vitamin D3 supplements too. It's okay to read old comments. What does it matter what the people's getting their questions? My sister has anemia. My sister is anemic. Do you have any tips for treating anemia? Yeah. Low vitamin A diet. Low vitamin A diet. Try it and watch her start to feel better. Watch her start to feel better on a low vitamin A diet. Let's see if we have this study on anemia. Hopefully she's not doing turmeric, by the way. Is your sister doing turmeric? It's funny because a lot of men get high iron and a lot of women get low iron. And we can fix both problems on a low vitamin A diet. And it's interesting because even the women who are on the muscle meat diets are getting iron deficiency problem. And do not take the iron pills, right? That is not the answer. The answer is not the iron pills. Okay, let me show you this study on the anemia. The answer is not to take iron supplements. The answer is to stop taking in what caused that in the first place, right? What caused that in the first place is a toxic diet that depleted you. And the more you research vitamin A, the more you see that it is an antagonist. You want to find out what's essential? You want to find out what's a real thing that you need? Find out what vitamin A antagonizes. Bleeding gums, K1 deficiency. Vitamin A is antagonist to K1 and K2. So you stop the high vitamin A diet and you stop bleeding gums. I wasn't like a bleeding gums person, but when I would go to the dentist, I would get bleeding gums, and now I don't. And my dentist is like, I don't know what you're doing, but your gums have gotten better. Usually it's the opposite and people's gums get worse. Got an x-ray when I had an ankle issue, and doctors like commenting like there's no signs of arthritis and how like good my bones look. Just little stuff like that you'll see, and it's just going to keep getting better with stuff like that. It's just going to keep getting better because we're stopping. Vitamin A is not a vitamin T-shirt. Those are coming. Vitamin A is not a vitamin. T-shirts are coming. We're getting the merch store going. Another thing you can do that you can look into is that Dr. Garrett Smith has is the lactoferrin for anemia. There was a good study that lactoferrin helped anemia, and in conjunction with a low vitamin A diet. I would have to know more about your sister, what she's eating, what she's taking, what else is going on in that picture, But if you look at, let's type it in, Accutane, ready for this? Accutane, anemia. Yes, Accutane, isotretinoin can cause anemia, a known side effect of the medication. Anemia can affect more than 1 in 10 people taking Accutane, can cause tiredness or require blood transfusions even. Symptoms of low red blood cell levels, which can lead to anemia, extreme tiredness, weakness, dizziness, coldness in your hands, feet, and pale skin. While taking Accutane, patients should have their blood drawn periodically to monitor their overall health. I think one of the worst things we can do for our teenagers' health is put them on Accutane. If you know anybody who's being told to put them on Accutane, ring the alarms and do whatever you can for them not to take Accutane. There is no reason to take Accutane at all. 2002, a young man stole a small plane and flew it into a building and commit suicide. And his mom tried to sue Accutane and the makers and gave up. But Accutane known side effect is suicidal thoughts, depression, anger. I wonder how many of the school shooters were on Accutane. Everyone likes to talk about the other meds. How many of the school shooters were on Accutane? And all Accutane, all vitamin A turns into some form of isotretinoin in the body. That's a biochemical fact. Biochemical fact. Let's type in hypervitaminosis A and anemia. A contributing factor to anemia. Yes, hypervitaminosis A can cause anemia. Hypervitaminosis A occurs when the body has too much vitamin A in its plasma, which can lead to elevated levels of free retinol and excess retinoid metabolites. This can directly affect the growth of bone marrow cells, which can cause severe anemia. Anemia can also be a symptom of acute vitamin A toxicity, along with other signs of anorexia, rough skin, and bone pain. Hypervitaminosis A is primarily caused by fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, which the body stores for longer than water-soluble vitamins, right? So they're telling you your body holds on to this. If you get too much, it's a problem. Other symptoms of hypervitaminosis A: blurred vision, headaches, hair loss, fatigue, dryness of the eye and mouth, scaly skin, bone tenderness. The list goes on and on and on. So for your sister, get her on a low vitamin A diet. If you're suffering from anemia, try a low vitamin A diet. If you want to know where to start, cut out dairy, cut out eggs, cut out liver, cut out fish oil, cut out multivitamins, cut out all the colorful plants, the carrots, the dark leafy greens, the tomatoes, the red peppers, the cantaloupes. Start eating simple and plain for a while. Red meat is great, chicken is great, rice and beans is great. If you don't want to do rice, that's fine. You can do some organic sourdough bread is great. Organic oats can be great. There's so many different ways you can do a low vitamin A diet. You can even do muscle meat carnivore low vitamin A. I would recommend some psyllium husk or some fiber. The good thing about psyllium husk is it's not a carb. It's no carb, right? It will never turn to sugar. Can acne and asthma be relieved, cured on a low vitamin A diet? People are reversing their skin problems. I can't use the word asthma. People are reversing their skin problems on a low vitamin A diet. Grant Ginroux is one of them. Grant Ginroux had stage 3 kidney disease and a body riddled with eczema. Okay, if you guys are new to this chat and you want to learn more about low vitamin A diet, Grant Ginroux Poisoning for Profits, Dr. Garrett Smith, YouTube live stream, Anthony Mawson, Mawson. Those are 3 top sources. And I'm sorry if I'm leaving out anyone, but you want to get to the bottom of this pretty quick. Read Grant Ginroux's book, Poisoning for Profits. He was an engineer. His job required him to be perfect, right? Doctors don't have to be perfect. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death. Third leading cause of death is doctors being wrong. If an engineer is wrong, people die, right? Planes crash, ships fall apart, spacecrafts blow up. Engineers can't be wrong. So that's already the mind you're dealing with. You're dealing with a mind of a human who can't be wrong. Goes to the doctor with eczema, kidney disease. The doctors are like, you're looking at dialysis and you're looking at a steroid cream. Looks into the steroid cream. Doctor says, hey, there's some long-term sides here. Cancer. Looks into the steroid cream. Oh, what does it do? It shuts down the cytokines. It shuts down your immune system. So you pretend you're lying. You think you're better, but you're just building it up for a rainy day. Goes on an internet forum one night, sees this thing called trigger foods. What's a trigger food? Oh, well, a trigger food is a food that if you have eczema and you eat this food, your skin condition gets worse. Okay. But there's probably something in that food then that we got to look into. So he decides to put all these trigger foods into a spreadsheet or a database. And what they come up with is like, oh, all these foods are high in vitamin A. Huh, that's weird. Well, this is supposed to be this essential nutrient that if I don't get enough, I go blind. Well, if this makes sense, then all I have to do is go on a low vitamin A diet. That's all I got to do is go on a low vitamin A diet and I'll get better. Well, he devises a plan. Bison, rice and beans, white rice, brown rice. And that's what he's going to eat. And he says he's going to give it 30 days or 2 months. And he had been, because he's of a mind and a genius engineer mind, he'd been looking at his eczema in a microscope. And day 22 comes and his joint pain goes away. And he's like, oh, wow. And joint pain was like low on the list, right? That was one of these problems people learn to live with. But he had been icing his knees. And you can read, Granchen Rood has a blog of 9 years of diary entries on a low vitamin A diet. And I recommend everyone go read it because it's incredible. And he's very sharp and very data driven and research driven. And if you want to nerd out and geek out on this stuff, and you want to see why I'm so confident and kind of always leave the breadcrumbs, because I've done the 1,000 hours of research on this, I've never been more confident about anything in my life. I've never been more confident about anything in my life that vitamin A is not a vitamin and we don't need it. It just happens to be there and you can't avoid it. You can't go on a no vitamin A diet because it's in everything. And if you went on a no vitamin A diet, you would die because you'd be eating white sugar and white rice. But if you lower it, you thrive and your levels go down. Day 22, his joint pain goes away. He starts to look at his eczema under a microscope. That starts to reverse. Then that starts to go away. Goes to the kidney doctors, and they're like, we don't know what. He is the first person the kidney doctors ever saw that reversed kidney disease, ever. Just by eliminating foods from his diet. It's not a mystery anymore, guys. This stuff isn't a mystery. If you want to argue in the comments section, waste your time because 5 years down the line, we're still going to be doing this and people are still going to be getting better. It's not a mystery anymore. Our people are not getting sick from genetics. They're getting sick from environmental toxins. They're getting poisoned, and the source is what they're putting in their mouth and putting on their skin. Straight up. Find out what those... And by the way, those toxins are things that most people are out here saying are healthy and good for us. Up is down is up. What are your thoughts on mushrooms and their cognitive benefits? Lion's mane. I would never take lion's mane. I would never take a powdered lion's mane. You go on lion's mane Reddit and you see horror stories. Mushrooms are the bottom feeders of the plant world. Mushrooms are the crabs and lobsters of the plant world. They're absorbing all that stuff. Who's growing these mushrooms? Where are they growing them? What's in the soil? What is that mushroom absorbing from the soil? Why are people getting wrecked off lion's mane? The lion's mane Reddit is really, really bad. There is a Reddit called Lion's Mane Recovery. Okay, type in Lion's Mane Recovery Reddit. Interestingly enough, here it is. There are 10,000 members. There are 10,000 members in the Lion's Mane Recovery Reddit. I think I might have to share my screen. Should we share? Should we do a screen share? Should we do the one of ones live stream first screen share, guys? Somebody give me a like or a share or a super thing. All right, let's share the screen. Let's share the screen. Can you guys see my screen? I don't know. I don't know if you can share my. I don't know if you can see it. I need an. Who's the guy in the Rogan thing? Who's the guy in the Rogan show? Jamie? I need a Jamie. That day will come. You can see my screen? Oh, now we're fucking streaming. Now we're streaming. Now we're surfing. All right, we're in. Okay, so let me go back to my screen share. Okay. Multiple fMRI brain scan reveals brain damages caused by lion's mane. Holy crap. We're on post 1, y'all. Wheelchair bound for 6 months. Jesus Christ. Been taking lion's mane for over 3 years. In addition to microdosing psilocybin every few weeks, I believe I was also taking really high doses of B6. B6 is a vitamin A and B6 are the only vitamins that are neurotoxins. Okay, so let's not villainize lion's mane yet. He's admittingly taking high doses of a neurotoxin called B6 through supplements and energy drinks. Guys, are you seeing why we are doing what we're doing? Like, it is the top of the supplement game. The top is in. People are wrecking themselves. The blind are leading the blind. People have no idea what they're doing. And the double-edged sword of capitalism is wrecking people because anyone can get a following and start selling anything. I saw some idiot selling liver powder the other day, like trying to be Liver King and Saladino. And it's like he's following some entrepreneur lesson of like, just go on the coattails of the thing that's hot and you'll make money too. Stop it. Stop eating detox organs. Stop eating the bottom feeders of the freaking Mother Nature. Okay. Ended up having severe foot and leg pain. Almost like my leg was going through a meat grinder. I couldn't put any weight on my foot or leg, had to quit my job and was completely bedbound. Had every test done under the sun until I was told complex regional pain syndrome. It's where my nerves were stuck permanently on. This is B6 toxicity. I ended up getting a treatment called scrambler therapy, which helped me walk again. Holy crap. I have no idea if lion's mane contributed to this, but I only stumbled upon this group today, and my dumbass was still taking it. Needless to say, I'm tossing it in the trash. This guy says lion's mane causes nerve damage. This guy says B6 causes nerve problems. Panic attacks all the time. This is lion's mane, guys. This is lion's mane. And listen, people are going to come on here and be like, I take lion's mane and I'm fine. If it does not apply, let it fly. We are not talking to you. We are talking to the people who are out there looking for answers, and they might try to go buy this stuff and they might get wrecked. And as a health coach and as an ethical human being, after seeing this and learning about this, I can never tell anyone to take lion's mane. Ever. Ever. You can never, if you're out there saying take lion's mane just because it worked for you, read through this. Once you read through this, you're not going to tell anyone to take this, ever. Psychological flare-up is taking place all the time. I am tensed most of the time. I am tensed up even in my sleep, waking up with intense feeling in my heart every time. It's like a panic attack. Anyone ever experienced this? Should I head to the hospital emergency? Here's a video on suicide. Here's one that I read a while ago of potential mechanisms and theories: liver damage, recovery timeline, brain shutting down. Anyone feel brain is so weak that it's going to shut down? Officially 1 year since stopping the supplement and going through just about every symptom. Hey everyone, I used to be pretty active in the sub on other accounts back in the early days. Some of you may have seen my interview on the Moral Medicine channel where I talked about my experience with lion's mane in depth. So he's got a YouTube video here. Anyways, I figured since it's been a year for me that I'd come back and answer some questions from people who are new to navigating this or looking for answers in regard to research. I'm heavily involved with people in the research community. This guy's saying cover ashwagandha. That's another thing that's wrecking guys. How are you feeling right now? Have you overcome the syndrome? I'm feeling better than when this started. I haven't overcome this fully just yet. However, I've been able to check off a lot of symptoms that I was scared would only get worse or stick around, especially the ones from the start like rapid thoughts, insomnia, and nerve tingles. Can you give us a broad update? Like, how are your symptoms from start until now? Sure, my main symptoms initially were these: severe anhedonia with a complete loss of emotions. Music, TV, enjoyment, emotions, and my endorphins were fully blocked off for a month. I saw a post the other day, guys, from a really big account on X that said they don't like music anymore. Were you taking, see how like not everyone's in tune with their body or understands, like puts two and two together? It's like, man, I don't like music anymore. I never thought it could be like this mushroom powder I was taking that like is this new fad thing. Guys, don't do fad things with your health. You want to wear some crazy clothes? You want to get a Jerry curl? Cool, man. You could change that hair. You want to fuck around and follow a fad supplement thing? You could wreck your life. And then you got years of damage to undo. And then we can help you. Maybe by helping your liver with the liver damage and your nerves. But stop following fad health things. I've gradually been improving this area over the 5 months. Every day isn't complete suffering like it was when this first began. Yeah, I've read people committing suicide on this subreddit of this lion's mane shit. Rapid fire nerves, tingles, and numb body parts. This resolved itself. Insomnia, brain fog. Lion's mane actually works via neurosteroid accumulation, similar to SSRIs. To be honest, lion's mane felt identical to how Zoloft felt. They wouldn't make an SSRI nature thing popular, would they? They wouldn't make a thing that acts like Zoloft popular, would they, and guise it as like a mushroom? His levels of allopregnanolone accumulated so much over 4 months. I took this drug, that upon abrupt cessation of lion's mane. How many times do we hear this? Unfortunately, my doctors don't take me seriously, so I have ceased working with them for the time. Yeah. If you go to your doctor and tell them that you got messed up on lion's mane, they're not going to have any remorse for you. They're going to look at you like you should have listened to us. That's what you get for going off the plantation. That's how a modern day doctor is going to look at this situation, which is messed up. Which is totally messed up, because not only that how many people get messed up on some nature thing and then go back to modern medicine, to their daddy, and then never see the light and never truly get better, right? Because the answer is always somewhere in between. His neurologist, let's see some more lines, man. This is why I don't. Diet impacts my recovery from lion's mane. 4 months update. Hey guys, I'll soon be hitting 4 months of this terror. I've very much gotten used to it now, and the symptoms come and go like random waves, sometimes triggered by stressful situations. I've been feeling quite well the past month or so with some small flare-ups here and there. 2 weeks ago, I started taking prebiotics and stay away from all sugar, wheat, and processed food for almost 2 weeks, and it was a success. My stomach felt the best it ever felt after lion's mane, and also mental symptoms went away. A couple of days ago, I decided to move to the city away from my mother's place since it got too crowded now that my brother moved there. So the apartment is my brother's. Man. Remission, flare-ups, causes, regulation, my stressful experience with lion's mane, claustrophobia. Does lion's mane side effect give anyone claustrophobia? Theory, white tongue, candida, brain damage caused by lion's mane. Been suffering with symptoms since last June. Current symptoms, constant pressure in the head, nose, sensitivity, and dizziness. The results from fMRI are reduced brain activation in the pallidum and dorsal striatum, reduced metabolism in some parts of the temporal lobe. Jesus, some things I've done are 30 minutes of exercise a day. Tinnitus. Lion's mane gummy supplements from Walmart. Guys, if it is in a gummy bear in a Walmart, the top is in and it's time to get away. Here's where this sentence goes wrong. I recently started taking lion's mane gummy from Walmart. Hey, what happened, man? Why do you have brain damage? Oh, I got a mushroom gummy bear from Walmart. Yeah. You want to see something even more messed up? You want to see something even more messed up? Check this out. You want to see something even more messed up? This is the 1-star reviews of grass-fed liver. I bought this bottle of grass beef liver 2 months ago, and I've been taking 4 every day. I'm almost done with the whole bottle. Notice no positive changes whatsoever, but plenty of negative changes. Yeah, because you're eating a detox organ filled with toxic garbage. 1, always sick, nausea, vomiting, headache, body ache. Pretty sure this supplement lowered my immune system somehow because I've gotten extremely sick 3 times in the past 2 months, and she never got sick. She read on the Ancestral website how the beef liver supplements might cause side effects, but it's really just symptoms of detox. What a fucking asshole. What an asshole. I'm not sure if I believe this because I've been taking them for over 2 months. I eat a healthy diet. I limit exposure to toxic things. And I take a lot of natural detox measures. I never drink alcohol. I take detox bath. I drink lots of water every day. I use sauna. Yeah, she was a clean person and put in a freaking detox organ into her body. It's not detox. You're now poisoning her. 2, possible vitamin A overload. Found this from another person's. People are catching on. According to the National Institute of Health, getting too much preformed vitamin A, usually from certain supplements or certain medicines, can cause dizziness, nausea, headaches, coma, and even death. Turns out people 14 plus are supposed to get around 900 micrograms. Okay, this is the RDA, which means absolutely nothing to me, but that is still too high. And you have people who have 1,500 micrograms just in their multivitamin. Guys, a beef liver pill contains 5,000 IUs. 1 pill of beef liver is 2,000 IUs over the recommended daily amount of vitamin A. This is a freaking huge problem, man. And if you do steroids, you end up with your arm in a sling and your eyes going blind. because you're severely damaging your liver. That's why Liver King is all messed up. That's why that dude is all messed up. You can't come on our TV screen on steroids and tell us it's liver. That's lie number one. And now people are straight up getting poisoned. My hair wasn't growing as fast. How many people do we see on low vitamin A diet where their hair gets thicker? I'm one of them. Before she started taking the beef liver supplement, she was taking hair, skin, and nail vitamin. Her hair was growing so fast. When she stopped taking it and started taking the beef liver supplement, hair was growing slow again. Messed me up good, no warnings. Heard about beef liver is such an amazing amount of both B12 and vitamin A. I was hoping to increase these in my diet and sought this particular brand as being both respectable and of high quality. Respectable and high quality. It doesn't matter the branding and marketing. You're getting a dried liver powder. You're getting dried detox organ crushed up into a powder form and put into a capsule. After reading the reviews, people throwing up and having headaches, I became freaked out. And then when my bottle arrived, only decided to break a single capsule in half. Had no reaction. The next day, tried a whole capsule, still good. Following day, went to 2 capsules. Worked her way up to 5 capsules. Wait a minute. 1 capsule is 2,000 IUs over. So how many is 5 capsules over? I was not having any reaction to what I had ingested up to that point and was not only relieved but hoping soon for that massive hit of energy and clarity that everyone keeps talking about. Instead, on early morning after taking the 5 pills around 4:30, I was awakened to a sour stomach and headache. Over the next hour, this heightened and I ended up fighting off several attempts for my body to get rid of this stuff until I couldn't hold it back. I threw up 2 separate times and managed to hold down the third. It was less intense. This stuff messed me up good and kept me in bed the whole day. Guys, this isn't like most 1-star reviews on Amazon are like the bottle showed up broken. This is like broken humans. People are getting broken. I dare you to find me another supplement with 1-star reviews as bad as liver supplements. I dare you. You can't. Even half dose, I felt awful. Go slower, just avoid. Diarrhea, headaches. Who knew? Headaches. Please be cautious. Started this product when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So this person's already toxic. This person's already likely vitamin A toxic, right? They have Hashimoto's. So they're coming to liver saving grace, thinking that's what's going to help them. Huge mistake. Felt so dizzy, it gave me anxiety. If you guys have watched my podcast, every single person who's come on my podcast no longer has anxiety. How many people do you know that have anxiety? Every single person that's gone on a low vitamin A diet, their anxiety's gone. I didn't listen to my body and took another day 3. I woke up and took it fasted, and not even 10 minutes later, she had her first panic attack ever. Congratulations, liver company. You gave this human being their first panic attack ever because you are making them sick on hypervitaminosis A. I felt awful rush in my body and my heart rate up to 120. Worst experience of my life. I almost drove to the ER. Be advocate of yourself and only buy vitamins from supplement companies that are due a quality assurance and are certified. I will never take something from this company again. It ain't the company, Bianca. It ain't the company. It's the detox organ that you got tricked into thinking was healthy. It ain't the company that wrecked you. You are eating the detox organ from an animal where the animal stores all its toxins, lead, cadmium, arsenic, vitamin A, copper. Oh, by the way, the animal gets killed in a state of fight or flight, which is dumping adrenaline into its liver. Oh, by the way, the liver's filled with glyphosate. Don't eat detox organs, y'all. Horrible stomach issues. Here's Yasmin. If your stomach hurts taking these supplements, stop immediately or you may end up in the hospital. After 15 days of taking this, I ended up in the emergency room and was admitted into an intensive care unit for 3 days. What the frick? The first time I took the pills, I was immediately in stomach pain for about an hour, so I lowered the number of pills down to 2 pills and still continued to hurt my stomach for about an hour. Over the course of the next few days, stomach pain was brief. I had an ulcer and my stomach lining was inflamed. The biopsy from the endoscopy results came back and I tested positive for H. pylori with gastritis. She thinks she might have had a bad batch. No, you were eating a detox organ. This person, Christina, caused liver damage. You notice how it's mostly women now. Women have smaller livers and women have more of a toxic burden. Just is what it is. Is what it is. I thought this would be my natural version of Accutane, isotretinoin. So she's smart enough to know that vitamin A, look at that, to help with acne and energy. I'm trying to find a non-prescription way to help my acne because I don't want to be on a prescription forever. So was she already on Accutane? Because then she's obviously very vitamin A toxic. See how this conversation gets so gray and convoluted, guys? Because you could have very little toxicity, do fine, and then somebody could come already who is already liver damaged and get severe poisoning because they're already toxic in this stuff. That's a fat-soluble molecule. Oh, look at this. Finally, a normal 1-star review. Lid won't open. Hey, Car, congratulations, bro. You saved an ER visit. The lid wouldn't open. God, someone was looking out for you, Car. Someone was looking out for you on that one. 6 capsules per day can cause vitamin A toxicity. Start slow and low. All right. So you won't get vitamin A toxicity this month, but you'll get it in a year. Smart job, MKW. Beef liver contains high levels of vitamin A, which is fat soluble, meaning that in some people, levels can quickly build up to toxic levels in the body fat and the liver. Everyone is different how their body will process fat soluble vitamins. In my personal opinion and experience, 6 capsules is way too much. I guess that's the amount they're telling people to take. In my case, only 3 capsules cause vitamin A toxicity after around 2 weeks. Guys, do you think there should be a disclaimer on liver pills? Like, do you think, like, and here's the problem. Most people who are looking at reviews, they go straight to the 5-star reviews and they want to just see how to get amped up, how this thing worked for people. Most people are going to ignore these reviews or not even see them. They're getting hidden. Vitamin A toxicity, run, don't walk. All right, we're 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's past my bedtime and my battery's going to run out. I think this was really good. I think this was really good for our first live stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you guys want to join us on the low vitamin A diet journey, if you want to start finding out how to level up and how we're looking good and feeling good, doing so well, one of ones, thortorrens.com. We are the Robin Hoods of health. We are taking back what they took from you. We are here to expose the biohackers and the health gurus and all this nonsense and these lies that are being spread. We are Big Pharma's worst enemy. We are your health guru's worst enemy. It's time. Things were getting out of balance. And when things are getting out of balance, the balancing act has to come in. So that'll be it for episode 1, weekly live stream. I'll see you guys next Thursday. It is May 28th, 2024. Thanks for rocking me and peace out, y'all.